Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming tonight to our Sunday feast gathering. You can now all turn and face this seat, and we'll have a talk from 6 until 7. And tonight's talk will be given by Govardhana Dasa Brahmachari, right here. Govardhana has been here for a while. He's been practicing Krishna consciousness for almost 10 years now, and this is his 5th year in the Brahmachari ashram, serving full-time in the temple. And tonight he will speak about Krishna conscious books and how it's important to share them with others. So he'll speak on that now. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Manachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Thank you, Tujamuni Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So I'll be reading from this book called Śrīmad-bhāgavatam. It's Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 43. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. One of the reasons why I chose this verse is because my spiritual master, he also chants this before he gives class. Krishna swadhamopagate dharma jnana dibi saha kalau nashtadresha mesha praranako dunodita. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This Bhagavata Purāṇa is as brilliant as the sun, and he has arisen just after the departure of Lord Kṛṣṇa to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in this age of Kali shall get light from this Purāṇa. Purport. Lord Shri Krishna has his eternal dham, or abode, where he eternally enjoys himself with his eternal associates and paraphernalia. And his eternal abode is a manifestation of his internal energy, whereas the material world, this world, is a manifestation of his external energy. When he descends to the material world, he displays himself with all paraphernalia in his internal potency, which is called Atma Maya. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that he descends by his own potency, Atma Maya. His form, name, fame, paraphernalia, abode, etc. are not therefore creations of matter. He descends to reclaim the fallen souls and to reestablish codes of religion which are directly enacted by him. Except for God, no one can establish the principles of religion. Either he or a suitable person empowered by him can dictate the codes of religion. Real religion means to know God, our relation with him and our duties in relation with him, and to ultimately know our destination after leaving this material body. The conditioned souls who are entrapped by the material energy hardly know all these principles of life. Most of them are like animals, engaged in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. They are mostly engaged in sense enjoyment under the pretension of religiosity, knowledge, or salvation. They are still more blind in the present age of Coral, or Kali Yuga. In the Kali Yuga, the population is just a royal edition of the animals. They have nothing to do with spiritual knowledge or godly religious life. They are so blind that they cannot see anything beyond the jurisdiction of the subtle mind, intelligence, or ego. But they are very much proud of their advancement in knowledge, science, and material prosperity. They can risk their lives to become a dog or hog just after leaving the present body, for they have completely lost sight of the ultimate aim of life. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared before us just a little prior to the beginning of Kali Yuga, and he returned to his eternal home practically at the commencement of Kali Yuga. While he was present, he exhibited everything by his different activities. He spoke the Bhagavad Gita specifically and eradicated all pretentious principles of religiosity. And prior to his departure from this material world, he empowered Sri Vyasadeva through Narada to compile the messages of the Śrīmad-bhāgavatam. And thus both the Bhagavad Gita and the Śrīmad-bhāgavatam are like torchbearers for the blind people of this age. In other words, if men in this age of Kali want to see the real light of life, they must take to those two books only, and their aim of life will be fulfilled. Bhagavad Gita is a preliminary study of the Bhagavatam, and Śrīmad-bhāgavatam is the summum bonum of life, Lord Shri Krishna personified. We must therefore accept Śrīmad-bhāgavatam as a direct representation of Lord Krishna. One who can see Śrīmad-bhāgavatam can see also Lord Shri Krishna in person. They are identical. Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hare Pre Vancha Kalpataribhyascha Kripasanibhya Evacha Patitanam Pavinibhyo Vaishnabhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada, he explained that this chanting of Hare Krishna should be in the mood of a child crying out to its mother. When a child is lost, it cries out in desperation. So when we chant Hare Krishna, we should be in that mood. In this material world, everyone's suffering, one way or another. So first of all, I want to thank you for coming, even though it's very cold. You came out of your warm bed to come here to hear some message. Like my spiritual master, he would say, I'm very insignificant, but the message of Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-bhāgavatam, they're of utmost importance. So it's mentioned that the face is an index of the mind, and one grain of rice can determine the condition of the pot. And as I look around, some are paying attention, while some, their mind is hundreds of miles away. The body's here, but the mind is so powerful it can be on another continent. That's how strong the mind is. But I met Mataji, a lady, and I showed her this verse in the Bhagavad Gita. For one who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, the mind remains the greatest enemy. And she really did not like this verse. She said, I want my mind to control me. So many people, they say foolish things like that. The mind it's actually our worst enemy. And you see that in today's, depression, anxiety, loneliness, and in worst cases, suicide. And that's a big, important factor. So one of the reasons, or the background, I wanted to speak on this transcendental literature. One of my main services at the temple is book distribution. We go out, we distribute these books, colleges, campuses, Balboa Park, everywhere where we can. And we were, Dujamani Prabhu and myself, we were in UCSD. It's a big school. And I met a student, and he was patiently waiting till I was done speaking to somebody. And what he told me was very alarming, actually. He said he had suicidal thoughts. And not only that, but he didn't care for the suffering that he was enduring in this life. He just accepted it like it was nothing. And so from that quote, from a grain of rice, you can tell the condition of the pot. And many students, they have that type of mentality. They're overburdened with pressure to be successful in their schooling. Srila Prabhupada says the modern educational system is a slaughterhouse, spiritual slaughterhouse. They don't teach the values of life, they just teach them how to be good work units. And so as I was speaking to the student, I can tell he was just very morose. He basically lost all hopes of life. No one has, introduced him to the books. And I was trying to convince him to take a book. Even just one book can change his life. The devotees that I know, they either got a book or someone gave them a book, either a friend. So books make devotees. And Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the Hare Krishna movement, he said even if they don't read the entire book, they benefit. Even if they read one page, they benefit. Even if they read one sentence, they benefit. And then he said, even if they read one word, they benefit. And then he said, even if they touch the book, they benefit. So we could imagine the tremendous advantage of getting Srila Prabhupada's book. I remember when I first started coming to Krishna consciousness, I was in the darkest regions of my mind, imagine that. And I was looking for answers, and my wonderful, kind-hearted, merciful cousin from the Philippines, she actually reached out to me. She saw how foolish I was chasing material things in the West. And the Philippines is considered to be a third world country, a developing country. So out of ignorance, I was thinking, I'm here in the great USA, right? What does she have to tell me? But I was so amazed at her answers. It just made perfect sense. It was logical. So she said, she gave me 3 wonderful instructions. She said, 1, go to the temple. 2, read Srila Prabhupada's books. And 3, associate with the devotees. And these 3 instructions I carry with me all the time. So the first book that I read was Science of Self-Realization. And the first chapter is called Learning the Science of the Soul. And the first sentence, it said, at present, human society is being misled by leaders who are blind, for they do not know the aim and objective of human life. When you look at the world leaders, you ask them questions. Why is there suffering? What is the goal of life? What am I supposed to achieve in this world? And they'll tell you some nonsense. Accumulate more as you know. That's what the West is. Overaccumulate more than you need, and then hopefully they'll make your life more meaningful. John Lennon from the Beatles, he was telling a story. When he was a small boy, he asked his mother, what is the goal of life? And his mother said, to be happy. So when he went back to school, he was given an assignment. What do you want to be when you grow up? So he said, I want to be happy. And his friends, they ridiculed him. They made fun of him. So John Lennon, he said, they said that you don't understand the assignment. And John Lennon said, you don't understand life. So everyone's trying to be happy in this world, but unfortunately this world, it's not a place to be happy. These material bodies are actually ways to receive pain. For example, nobody wants disease, but we get disease sometimes. And we don't want old age, but old age will come. And ultimately, we don't want death, but death will come anytime without notice. So I'll tell something. I like to tell this story because it's very sobering. I was at the harbor here by the airport, and I was distributing books. And one of my good friends, His Grace Vijay Prabhu, he said, approach anyone and everyone, don't discriminate. And you don't know who will take books. So this one day there was a young man, he was dressed nicely. He was very handsome. Externally, he looked like he was put together. So I called him over, and I handed him Hiding in Unnatural Happiness. We didn't exchange any words. He just took the book and left. And after a few hours, he came back, and he said, why did you give me this book? I said, I want you to be happy. He said, how do you know I'm not happy? Like I mentioned, the face is an index of the mind. And I told him, there's something missing in your life, which is Krishna, after all. But people don't know it. So he said, why did you give me this book? I said, I want you to be happy. He said, before you gave me this book, I was going to commit suicide. You don't know imagine that, life is so hard that the only solution is to end everything. And they say that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And who are we to take our own life anyway, This life was given to us, and we have no right to take it. So this young man, he came to me, and he told me what he was planning to do. He said, after reading this book, it actually gave me hope in the world. So Srila Prabhupada's books, everything is there in Srila Prabhupada's books. Who here has read Bhagavad Gita as it is from Srila Prabhupada? Okay. For those that don't, please see me after class. I have books. We have books. We just came back from the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust in LA, and we got cases and cases of Bhagavad Gita. But this world is not a place to enjoy. We're actually suffering in this world. And Srila Prabhupada, he says books are the basis, utility is the principle, preaching is the essence, but most importantly, purity is the force. In this age of Kali, it's characterized by hypocrisy and quarrelism. You know, when people hear the word religion or God, people just turn away. You know, because there's so many instances where people have used the name religion or God inappropriately, you know. And then most people, they say, oh, I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. Srila Prabhupada, I'll tell you this wonderful pastime. There was this two devotees, and one of their services was to clean up the temple after the Sunday feast. And they would collect little nectar, you know, whatever Srila Prabhupada would have, they would distribute among devotees. And one of the ladies gave this little notebook to this couple. And after so many years, they finally opened this book. It was empty, they thought. And towards the end of the book, Srila Prabhupada, he wrote 2 sentences, the same. And the devotees, they weren't able to read this writing first, because Srila Prabhupada, his handwriting is very beautiful. And when they figured it out, they smiled. Srila Prabhupada, he wrote twice, "Save the world from godlessness. Save the world from godlessness." In this society, Krishna conscious society, we're trying to reawaken our dormant love for God. Srila Prabhupada chose his words very carefully. Reawaken. What does that mean? It's already there. So this, and Srila Prabhupada explained that the dharma of the soul is to serve. We have to serve someone, whether it's our husband, our wife, a boss, a dog, a cat. So we have to serve. We cannot avoid this. But Srila Prabhupada explained that the perfection of service is towards God, because by nature the soul is part and parcel of God. We are eternally servants of God. But instead of serving Krishna, we want to serve the senses, we want to serve the mind, we want to serve this, that. And then at the end of life, we're frustrated. The people that we love the most, people that we gave our secrets to, people that we give our hearts to, sometimes they leave us prematurely. So people are in anxiety. And says that the best wealth is knowledge. It cannot be stolen, it's priceless and imperishable. There was 2 brothers. One wanted to study under a rich merchant. He became an apprentice. While the other brother, he studied spiritual knowledge. And after years of studying, they wanted to go back to their parents and share with them what they earned. And on their way to their parents' house, there was some robbers, some dacoits. And the brother, with a lot of wealth, they robbed him of everything. But the brother that was searching for knowledge, he had nothing. They left him alone. So knowledge is not a burden like material things, you know. And with the problem with material opulence is that it diminishes the more you give. That's why most people don't like charity. You know. But with spiritual knowledge, the more you give, it increases. And so it's priceless. You cannot calculate the amount of knowledge someone has. What is the difference between a king and a learned person? The learned person is respected everywhere. Perfect. A king is only respected within his kingdom, maybe out of duty or fear. But a learned person is respected everywhere he goes. And everyone can benefit from a learned person. And those that are parents, you have a wonderful obligation or responsibility to educate your children. It says that parents who do not educate their children are actually enemies. So please take that into consideration. And the best type of knowledge, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Raja Vidya Raja Guyam Pavitramidam Uttamam Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmam Susukam Kartam Avyayam. Raja can mean king or royalty. So the king of education is the Bhagavad Gita. And it says it's the most secret of all secrets. And why? Although this Bhagavad Gita is easily available, how many people will read it? If you give a child a very rare diamond, they will not know the value of it. You know, a stranger says, here, I'll trade you that for this toy truck. And the foolish child will trade it, not knowing what this rare and valuable gem is. And it's the purest knowledge. Life after life, there's the concept of karma. For every action, there's a reaction. And in my life, I committed so many bad acts. So I'm welcoming the bad reactions, you know. I welcome them. But this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of the soul to Krishna, is the purest knowledge because it burns up all of the sinful reactions. But we cannot cheat Krishna. See? A lot of people, Amogalila Prabhu, he was telling in class that, you know, when kids, if they don't want to see something, they cover their eyes, right? And they think, oh, that lion is not there. Just like an ostrich, when he sees a lion coming, it digs a hole under the ground and he hides in there. And he thinks that the lion will go away. So Mogalila Prabhu, he was, I think, hiding from his parents. He was hiding under the table, you know. But we cannot hide from Krishna. Why? Because Krishna is in the heart of everyone. Everyone, every living entity. He knows all of our thoughts, our actions. My spiritual master, he says, if people really knew what was in our hearts, would they really accept us? You know. But Krishna, he does. And Krishna never gives up on us. Life after life after life, he tolerates all of our foolishness. And this knowledge, it's easily perceived. It gives direct perception. Those that chant Hare Krishna, they automatically feel joy and bliss. You know. I remember when I first started chanting, I had really bad road rage. Who here has road rage? Okay. Yeah. So I started chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Next thing I knew, I was at home. So this mantra completely took whatever was in my mind, you know, whether it was anger, greed, and just completely took it away. One of Krishna's name is Hari, one who takes away. And this knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, it is joyfully performed. Srila Prabhupada, he said, if you're not happy in Krishna consciousness, you're doing something wrong. There was a Mataji, a lady at Balboa Park, and she asked me, what is your philosophy? I said, chanting, dancing, and feasting. And she said, sign me up. You know? So that's what our philosophy is. It's wonderful. Not only that, but the practical application of the knowledge in these books. Everyone has a mind, so we should learn to control it. You know, people are dragged by anger, lust, hatred, and above all, the mind is the master of the senses. And Srila Prabhupada, he says there are so many departments of knowledge all over the world and so many huge universities, but there is, unfortunately, no university or educational institution where the science of the spirit soul is instructed. Yet the soul is the most important part of the body. Without the presence of the soul, the body has no value. On book distribution, we ask, what makes the body beautiful? You know? Is it the hair? Is it the nails? Is it the skin? But it's actually the soul. As soon as the soul leaves the body, it's a dead corpse. You know? But no one understands the value of the soul. Still, people are placing great stress on the bodily necessities of life, not caring for the vital soul. Here on Grand, there's a Botox clinic, you know. You know, a little wrinkle, you know, put some Botox, you know. A little wrinkle around the lips, put some Botox. Next thing you know, you can't smile, you know. It's horrible. Like, people that are on the bodily conscious of life, they have to try to make the body look so beautiful. But a devotee of Krishna consciousness, a devotee of Krishna, understands that the body is temporary, it's perishable. It can be ruined at any time, isn't it? And so, when the sages of Naimisharanya, they were talking to King Parikshit, and they saw the condition of Kali Yuga, and they said, Prayana Paishaha Sabya Kalavasmin Yugejana Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Hi Upadruta. They said in this iron age of Kali, men almost have but short lives. And Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto, he says that a human being may live for 100 years at most. And half of those years are spent sleeping. So those that are good in math maybe can help me. 100 years divided by 50, what is that? 2. Okay, maybe I'll say it like this. What is 100 years minus 50 years? 50, half. And then Prahlad Maharaj says, in childhood, tender age, we spend 10 years in bewilderment. So 50 minus 10, 40. And then he says in adulthood, we spend another 10 years in plain romance, work life. So how many is that? 30. And then he said in old age, we waste 20 years unable to do so many things out of invalidity. So 30 minus 20, what is that? Only 10 years. We actually have only 10 years to perfect Krishna consciousness. But we're so, entangled in this world. I need to get a bigger house. I need a newer car. I need this. I need that. And next thing you know, you're 50 years old thinking, where did my life go? So I'm sorry if I'm a little heavy, or if I'm straightforward. Srila Prabhupada was once asked a question, and Srila Prabhupada said, should I flatter you or tell you the truth? So please forgive me. And the people of this age are also very lazy. Not only when it comes to material achievements, but spiritual endeavor. So, there's how many people are on the earth now? 8 billion. Right. And in this little city, how many of them are here? 2.5. So the devotees are actually very rare. And those that are practicing Krishna consciousness, those that actually took initiation, took one step ahead. It's easy to, well, it's not easy, but to chant 16 rounds, it takes about 2 hours a day. But we have 24 hours in the day. What is our excuse, I have to do this, I have to do that. My spiritual master, he said, it's not a matter of time, but it's a matter of priority. Where do we put importance in our life? And it says that men are no longer, women also, are no longer interested in spiritual values. Material sense gratification is now the standard of civilization. Sad, And in the Bhagavatam, It says, both by rising and setting, the sun decreases the duration of life. Day by day, our life is decreasing. Someone asked Srila Prabhupada, maybe I should take up spiritual life when I'm older. Srila Prabhupada said, who's younger or who's old? Someone may be 80 years old and someone may be 19 years old. But old means someone who's very close to death. Parikshit Maharaj, this wonderful king, he was cursed to die in 7 days. He had 7 days to live. He knew how much he had to live. But for us, we can be walking on the street and some drunkard can come hit us. People do foolish things. I pick up my spiritual master in the morning. And there's some, young people, they're drunk beyond, and what they're doing is they're trying to get back home as fast as they could. This is craziness, So who's old and who's young? Okay. So I'll conclude and then maybe we can have some discussions or questions. Instead of hearing bombs, gunshots, crying, war and chaos, we can hear the sound of peacocks, swans playing in the lakes, cows mooing, birds and parrots with their sweet chirping. And above all, we'll be able to hear the transcendental sound of Krishna's flute. Draveda Prabhu.
Listen. Is it on? Yeah, hold it.
Thank you. How soothing is that? So instead of hearing arguments and this and that and whatever this material world offers, we can go back to the spiritual world. Goloka Vrindavan, that's actually our eternal home, our original home. But somehow or other we had this bright idea to try to enjoy this material world. And Srila Prabhupada says one of the biggest reasons is we wanted to try to be Krishna. We wanted to try to be God. We wanted to be in the center of the universe. How can the world live without me, right? Oh, Krishna. The mind is so unpredictable, So that is our mission, is to distribute these wonderful books. Kanai Balai, I hope he doesn't mind. He would write down arguments, take the bus, and he would come to the temple and argue with devotees, He was doing that. And the devotees, they gave him a small book, Easy Journey, and he didn't read it, he just kept going, I'm going to prove them wrong, These Hare Krishnas, they're, And he actually read it after purification, and it made sense to him. And he's a sincere devotee now, Balaram Prabhu, he read Perfection of Yoga, this little tiny book, and he's been engaged in Krishna's service for over 17 years now. So these books are not ordinary books, So that is our mission is to again try to reconnect the lost souls to Krishna's lotus feet. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because in December there's what we call a December marathon. We try to distribute as many books as we can, and we need your help. As brahmacharis, we don't work. Our life is engaged in studying, preaching, helping, like that. So those that are working, please kindly help us. You can either sponsor books, you can also get books yourselves or distribute them. There was a young lady, she said, I can't do this. I said, what do you mean? She said, I can't talk to strangers, you know. And then so if you have that phobia, you can sponsor the books, and Dvijamani, Prabhu and myself, Balaram, Mukunda Charana, Bhakta Chad, Bhakta Matthias, all the temple devotees will go out and distribute the books for you. Yeah. Okay, that's what I have here. Are there any questions or comments or reflections? Yes, Prabhu. How did I become a devotee? By the mercy of another devotee. No one wakes up and says, I want to be a devotee of Krishna. Nobody, it's rare. First of all, do they even know Krishna? Marcy, Mataji, in a very sweet way, she goes out and distributes books, you know, just walking, just talking to people. And she said, I can't believe so many people don't know Krishna. You know, she said it so innocently, you know. You know, who is Krishna, right? And many people, what they read on the internet, it's all garbage, it's rubbish, you know. So don't, you know, fall victim to that. But yeah, I was actually searching for truth. I was looking for peace, you know. Krishna says there's 4 people that approach him. One someone who's in distress. One is someone who's in need of wealth, money. One is someone who's inquisitive, you know. What is this chanting of Hare Krishna? You know. And 4, one who's searching for knowledge. So for me, I can fit, or accept money, but I fit in 3 of the categories, you know. Everyone is working hard day and night, but they weren't happy, you know. And I also understood at the end of life, we don't bring anything with us. At the beach, little children, they make a little sandcastle, you know. They work so hard at it, putting little bridges, windows and doors. And then throughout, you know, the sea just washes it. So our achievements in life is like that. We work so hard, but we don't bring anything with us. But we do bring our karma. See? So I was searching and searching, and I was asking questions. And most of the groups that I approached, their answers didn't make sense, or it was incomplete. You know, why is someone born blind? Why is someone born with sight? Why are there children born on the streets, and why are there children born in good families? You know, what determines the outcome? And so I understood it's not explained through material things, you know, it's spiritual. So anyway, long story short, my cousin in the Philippines, she reached out to me, and then I asked her the questions, and her answers were so wonderful. They were profound to me, you know, like, you know, how we have an eternal relationship with Krishna, and we can love Krishna in so many ways, you know. And I also love the idea of God being a person. In most religions, God is impersonal. He's a bright light. He has no form, you know. So how can we be close to someone that we have no knowledge about? You know, it's very difficult. So when I heard the passings of Krishna, how wonderful he is, you know. Just like a few days ago, we celebrated Govardhana Puja. Krishna, as a little 7-year-old, lifted this huge mountain with his left pinky, you know, for 7 days and 7 nights. Why? To protect his friends, family, from the thunderstorm of King Indra. King Indra is considered to be the king of heaven, but is also in charge of rain, you know, clouds like that. So Krishna protects his devotees. And if you read Śrīmad-bhāgavatam, like this wonderful devotee, his name is Prahlad Maharaj. He had an atheistic, demoniac father. His own father tried killing him. You know, but Krishna saved him time after time after time again. So these books are meant to you can say, convince us that there is God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and His name is Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, he says, there's a gentleman named Krishna, and he controls everything, you know, a gentleman. Krishna doesn't force us, he gives us free will. So out of foolishness, we misuse that free will. Sorry if that was a long answer. Anybody else? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So, even if you're very shy, if you learn that this is the highest and most pleasing service to Srila Prabhupada, and if you have an amazing and strong love for Srila Prabhupada and you want to please him the most, then even a shy person, upon hearing like this, can get the courage to go out and distribute these books. There are many examples of very shy people. Once they find out that this is the most important service or most pleasing service to Srila Prabhupada, they can cross beyond their shyness and be very powerful book distributors, actually.
Thank you. One technique is that we should see people on the transcendental platform, not to see them as a man or a woman or this or that, but to see everyone as a lost soul wandering throughout this world. And we're trying to reconnect them back to Krishna, the source. Mataji, did you have a question?
Okay, so even if you're not shy,
Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, for example, I'm not shy. In that regard, I can talk to people, strangers, all day long.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gift. But I'm not, in my opinion, because what you've discussed today was that you've had instances where people have asked you very pointed questions. Mm-hmm. And because you are fairly learned, you're able to answer those questions. I would be stupefied in most cases. So I can't. Now, you see what I'm saying?
Choose to distribute the books that you're most comfortable with. What I used to do is, after every time I come back from book distribution, I would always ask questions to myself. What if someone asked me this? And I would go to the books and I would try to find answers. So I was ready. I was actually ready, you know. If someone asked me this, I should have the answer. Because if you don't have the answer, people are going to look away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But my humble suggestion is to distribute books that you're comfortable with, or books that you've read, you know. And surprisingly, most people, they're not very deep in their understanding. Mm-hmm. And you can just explain to them that these books, they help us to find inner happiness and inner peace. They help us to live a more meaningful life, things like that, and people will accept it. Yeah. If you have questions, you can ask Marcy. She's a powerful, yeah. She approaches anyone, you know. Have you heard of Krishna? And Vaishekha Prabhu, he said questions contain the answers. You know. And a good way is just to ask them, you know, how are you? Do you like to read? You can just keep it simple. So don't be discouraged. Anyone else? Okay, I think we have some announcements.
Thank you, Lord.